Ollie London is back to being a man, and he's found God. I'm sure you're happy about that. Let's get more into that.
Well, I'm delighted to be joined by the man himself, a social media influencer, Ollie London. Ollie, thank you for giving us the time today and coming into the studio. I really do appreciate it. I don't know where to start.
His drip is a lot better, that's for sure.
So I was always an atheist my whole life, and I've always been lost with my identity. I've always struggled looking in the mirror and just struggled with who I am as a person. So the last few months I was feeling lost. I felt like I needed guidance, so I started going to a Catholic church and just attending the Sunday services and just kind of feeling the atmosphere. And it was just such a welcoming place. People were very kind, very friendly. People just wanted to be nice to me. And I spoke to the priest there and they gave me some advice and they actually gave me a copy of the Bible. So I've been studying, especially the Proverbs. And I just feel like it's a very motivational thing. And sometimes we get to a point in our life where we become lost and we need that guidance. So for me, going to church and finding God has given me guidance and a kind of light in my life that has made me realize, look, I should be the way that God made me. I should be happy with who I am. I shouldn't be constantly chasing this kind of unrealistic idea of perfection.
If you told me that Ollie London would eventually stop trying to be a Korean woman and actually find God 2 years ago, I would have laughed in your face. But man, this character development.
You shouldn't be chasing these unrealistic ideas. I feel that would have really helped me with myself and with my growth as a person.
I think that's important because with the conversion therapy ban, we're looking to stop people praying with each other and offering support in that kind of way. And I think that would be damaging. But do you think there were enough checks and balances? Do you think there were enough safeguarding questions in place before you went through with your surgeries? And
my journey started there, and I've undergone 32 surgeries in total.
I thought it was 6.
I've always had, for the most part, good doctors. I've had a few that kind of pushed me into it or did the wrong thing. Recently I've had some really great doctors and they always give me a psychological evaluation before. And they see that I'm doing it because...
And yet they've still done it. What was the point of all the psychological background checks if they did it anyway? It's like if a criminal came and tried to buy a gun from you, you did a background check on them, found out they were a criminal and that they did some bad stuff, but then you proceed to give them the gun anyways. Like, what's the point?
It gives me confidence, it gives me happiness. But, I have realized it's not normal. 50 years ago, people weren't doing all these crazy surgeries. And
yeah, they were.
I kind of feel bad that I've been sharing this with the world because maybe some people would have been influenced by me. So, that's another reason I'm going to church, to try and redeem myself and become a better person.
I hope that this isn't just another phase of Ollie and whatever he's saying here is legitimate. If it is, I'm very happy for him. And I think this would be a really good book to write.
It really was just a temporary fix. I was just lost with my identity. I was bullied as a teenager, so I was just really lost. So I think I love the Korean culture, I love the Korean people, and I think, I wanted to identify with Korean people because that gave me happiness. All of these things, all of these changes are not important. It's just about the person you are inside. If you have a good connection with God.
Again, I never thought he would actually get to this point. I thought we would just be in this cycle forever. This is quite possibly a happy ending that you don't see a lot with these internet celebrities. I'm scared to think how dark of a hole that he could have gotten himself into. And some people involved in the K-pop community could take after Ollie and improve themselves.
Today I have an announcement about the journey I have been on for the last 6 months and my future journey. So basically, as you guys know, I transitioned. I became a Korean woman.
No, you didn't. But it's neither here nor there.
For the surgery to be more feminine, I started to wear women's clothing. I got Korean hair extensions.
There's Korean hair extensions? I thought they were just hair extensions. What's so Korean about it? It smells like kimchi? Like, I don't understand.
But I've come to realize that actually I am a man and I want to stay as a man. So I'm going to revert to my original pronouns, which is he, him, and call Ian. So
you had me in the first half. Yeah, after watching Core's video, like I just really identified with Ian's struggles in life, and I really respect Ian coming out with Core.
Because it's very confusing, and I know a lot of people, struggle for many years with their gender identity, and they may be born in the wrong body. And I was born in the wrong body, but I was born in a British body when it should have been Korean.
You know what? Baby steps. You gotta start somewhere. You're not gonna get to the finish line immediately. You gotta work up to it. He'll get to the finish line eventually.
Thank you so much for coming on to talk about this very sensitive topic. Some may say that most wouldn't come out to talk about this. You started as a man, wanted to become a woman, now detransitioning. Where are you today, and why did you make this decision?
You know, I felt that it was important for me to go back to being a man. I was confused. I was unhappy with who I was. I've always suffered.
Why is this always his intro with these interviews? You know, I really enjoyed being a woman for the past 6 months, and if you guys know, I had problems with my identity. I didn't know who I was, so I was experimenting. Sometimes I'm a woman, sometimes I'm a cat, sometimes I'm an alien from my love from the star. Does he have a script or something behind the camera that he keeps reading off of? I don't understand.
Dysmorphia, you know, maybe gender dysphoria as well. So I wasn't happy. So I've had all the surgery, and then I was thinking, I'm still not satisfied. Maybe I'm meant to become a trans woman. So I tried that, and it just wasn't right for me. And then I realized, you know, you can't just change your gender like that. And also, I never want to offend women. I love women. I respect women. And I felt like, you know, a lot of women do find it offensive when men decide to change. So,
and I know women in real life who feel that exact same way.
I've seen so many horror stories online of people that detransitioned. You know, they actually went through the hormone therapy, the surgery on their bodies, and they actually had problems with their bones. Some of them even developed.
Absolutely horrible. If you've seen some of the detransitioning stories, it's absolutely horrendous. And the worst part is, some of those detransition stories are even kids, not even legal age, and they've already detransitioned, and they've already experiencing a lot of physical deformities with their body. It's not a pretty sight.
So I really just felt like I should speak out and try and help the children in America that are being pushed a narrative that they should be transitioning from a young age. They should undergo surgery at the age of 12 and puberty blockers, hormone replacement therapy, which is, for me, I think is mutilation.
Is this dude okay? He looks like he's in a trance. It's like when you're talking to someone high and their eye just kind of drifts and there's like...
Well, a lot of children actually experience gender dysphoria these days. So, you know, you have a lot of girls that may be like tomboys when they're a kid. And then you have teachers and doctors saying, okay, maybe you're trans, maybe you need to have surgery, maybe we need to get you on the puberty blockers from the age of 12. So, you know, kids just need to be kids. Some girls like to do boy things, some boys like to play with Barbie dolls, and that's fine, but we shouldn't be pushing a narrative that they have to transition, they have to...
Exactly! It's permanent. Have you seen the detransitioning stories? It's permanent. Their bodies are changed for life. Listen, if you're an adult, you want to do that, go ahead, but leave the kids alone. Let the kids be kids.
Forced to have these puberty blockers, which can cause life-threatening issues for them, and they can also lead to high suicide rates. So I just feel like it's important to speak out, but also I believe, you know, all 50 states in America need to have legislation to protect children. We shouldn't be pushing these, you know, thousands of children every year to undergo these surgeries from 12 to 16. It's just wrong. If people want to change, you know, change as an adult, you know, make that decision.
It's like Ollie London's reading my mind. This is, oh my God.
As an adult, but we shouldn't be pushing this woke narrative on kids that it's okay to change from a young age when it's very harmful. So over the last week, I've received death threats, I've received harassment on a daily basis from the extreme left and the trans lobby. You know, they're just sending me hate, and I'm just there to share my story because I've seen so many kids online, you know, sharing their stories of how they've been mutilated. And it's equivalent to you have in Somalia female genital mutilation, which is done on religious grounds.
That's horrible, 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 horrible.
NHS England has unveiled new guidance for youngsters distressed about their gender. Doctors should now carefully explore all underlying health problems.
I need to watch British news from now on. This dude's eloquency, his vernacular, his way of speaking is so much better than Americans. Today we're going to be talking about gender wars and we're going to be talking about children transitioning. Chef's kiss, buddy.
Why not? Let me try it. Let me see if it's for me. But even as a trans woman, I was very respectful for women. I would never use women's restrooms or changing rooms. I never wanted women to feel threatened by me. I was just kind of, I guess I was having an identity crisis or gender dysphoria, which a lot of kids have these days. So I just want to speak up to try and raise awareness.
I wouldn't say that a lot of kids had gender dysphoria. I feel like just kids being kids. I think the problem is we're putting too many labels on kids. I don't think it's they're being gender dysmorphic. I don't think they're, they want to be trans. I think they're just being kids and they're exploring the imagination.
You know, it's this modern modern sort of queer theory influenced way of thinking about identity, that all boundaries are fluid and that everything that is fixed is bad and constraining and that we have to try and overturn everything. So I guess that, you know, somebody who just says very boringly, like mums are very boring people who say to you, you know, pack an umbrella, do you know where you're going? And by the way, sorry, you can't have everything you want in life.
Oh my God, how horrible of a mom, telling their kids to be safe and to tell them about reality of life. That is, how horrible. Like,
you know, I definitely feel I had gender dysphoria, and I definitely think, you know, when we look at television shows, I mean, you have some really shocking things like on Channel 4, when they had the other day, the trans person ripping all their clothes off, playing a piano with their penis. I mean, that is just beyond shocking.
What the hell? What kind of British TV y'all been watching? Just freaking...
And the thing that is missing there, and what we seem to have here, is left-wing women, among others, speaking up, gay women, straight women, and that seems to be changing the debate. You're obviously part of this, but do you agree? I mean, there's a shift going on.
Yes, I think that in America it's sadly become a totally polarised issue. That if you're a Democrat, you have to believe that people can change sex and that gender identity overwrites sex. And if you're a Republican, you can be against it, but then there's a bunch of other things that you believe that a lot of women would find quite uncongenial. And so each side sort of looks at the other side and says, you know, look at the mad things they believe, look what they'll do to us.
I gotta move to Britain.
And much more rationalist and focused on children as well. That's the important thing. We're misleading children. I mean, Ollie's a grown-up. If he wants to do these things to himself, that's one thing. But leading a child down that path, children believe what adults tell them.
Yes, exactly. This is a very surreal experience. I apologize if I wasn't speaking very much. It's just that I'm not used to Ollie London being like this. I'm not used to him speaking this much facts in one video. I'm used to just nonsense from him. Anyways, that's it. See ya.